Welcome back. This time we're going to talk about the first trailer for Transformers The Last Knight, otherwise known as Transformers 5, otherwise known as Why Are We Still Making These Movies? So yes, before we get any further, I am not a fan of the Transformers series. Are there actually fans of the Transformers series? I know people pay money to go see them, but do people actually like them? I will say for me, I got some genuine enjoyment out of the first Transformers movie. The second one, is quite possibly one of the worst blockbusters ever made. The third one wasn't as bad as the second one. The fourth one actually managed to bore me with explosions. That's kind of a talent in itself. But snark aside, I will say I'm going to go see this one because I'm going to go review it and see if there's a chance that they might make a good Transformers movie. And I will say this series as a whole has done one thing really well. Give us really good trailers. Because as bad as each Transformers movie is, you go watch the trailer for the next one and you go, wow, that's a pretty solid trailer. This might actually be a good movie. Then you go see it and you realize that it was a really good trailer. So I was actually looking forward to watching this trailer when I saw that it had finally dropped. And honestly, for the first time, this trailer really left me pretty cold. I might have just finally had it beaten into me that these movies are not going to be good, so there's no reason to get any hopes up. But even if I wasn't looking forward to the movie and still thought it was going to be terrible, but even with the other movies that I know are bad, I can go back and actually enjoy the trailers because they're well made. Now, as far as this movie goes, I really know nothing about this movie. I haven't looked for anything. I just know that Mark Wahlberg is back and that Josh Duhamel from the original 3 is back as well. Beyond that, don't really know that much. Just know that somehow it involves King Arthur. Yeah, so let's just go right into this trailer. I'm going to talk about what I saw, what I liked, what I didn't, and any other thoughts that I might have after watching it. We open with a close-up of a bloody cross, then we get to see some knights riding through the forest, and then a flying Dinobot, or maybe it's a Dragon Bot since it's supposed to be King Arthur time. I don't know. But before we can really put much thought into it, we get a voiceover from Anthony Hopkins, who I did not know was in this movie. But apparently he is. And he's giving this voiceover. It's very ominous, talking about sacrifice and a war between two races, one metal, one flesh. And all I could think about was the trailer for Thor the Dark World, because that also started with a voiceover from Anthony Hopkins. Now, I know that's typically not people's favorite MCU movie. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot, actually. So I'm honestly not sure if that helped or hurt my impressions of this movie based on the trailer. We get to see a series of historical scenes, starting with what I'm going to assume again is like King Arthur time. And of course, everything blows up. There's sparks everywhere, even though that really doesn't make any sense. Then we're seeing Nazi Germany. We get to see some other soldiers that I'm assuming are probably even more recent. We also get to see the most dreaded words a film lover can see. Then we get the opening chords of a very interesting cover of the Flaming Lips. Do You Realize? The cover is by Frederick Lloyd. I looked it up because it is kind of interesting. I'm not sure I exactly like it, but it's something I'd actually like to listen to without the trailer involved. It appears we're back in the present at this point in the trailer. We get to see some scenes of destruction. We get to see this young girl that I'm guessing is a main character because she pops up a couple more times during this trailer. Don't know who she is, don't know what her involvement is, but apparently she's going to have some kind of connection to Mark Wahlberg's character at some point. The voiceover tells us that Optimus Prime has left us. We get to see him floating rather dead looking in space. Like, he died in the second one. They abandoned us in the third one. He was a rusted hunk of metal in the fourth one. I'm like, all right, Optimus Prime leads us in basically every one of these movies. I did find it interesting that Anthony Hopkins is actually a human. We get to see him briefly in a scene, which did make me question his comment, "left us." What is his involvement? What is his character? Again, we don't know yet. This is pretty much a teaser trailer. There's very little plot. Well, I will say there's a lot of hints at plot. Perhaps too much plot. That was really one of the biggest problems with the fourth one, is there was just way too much story. And not much of it was terribly good. They could have trimmed so much out of that movie. So I'm already concerned about too much story, and there just seems to be a lot of hints at story. We don't get any specifics, of course, but I'm a little gun shy when it comes to the scripts with these movies. for obvious reasons. Especially with the voiceover suggesting that we're going to find out why the Transformers keep coming to Earth over and over and over again. It feels like we're going to try to tie everything together. Again, that's something they try to do in the third one and pretty much failed at. So, again, I have reason to be concerned. I'm not even sure if I hope anymore. I would be pleasantly surprised, honestly completely shocked, if this fifth movie is actually good. But I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to go in, I'm going to watch it, I'll hope for the best, and be willing to be shocked if it is. But there's so much in this trailer that just is harkening back to things that I didn't like about the earlier ones. It's at this point the action music kicks in. We get to see explosions. We get to see Transformers fighting. We get to see explosions. We get to see that same girl again talking about how she's going to stand and fight. We get to see explosions. We see our two main characters together. We get to see explosions. And then it ends on Bumblebee running towards Optimus Prime, who is back, of course. And then Optimus body slams him and talks about how he's sorry. Is he being controlled? Is he doing it for the greater good? Again, we don't know, but that's probably the biggest plot development that we get in this movie, that something happens to Optimus Prime when he comes back. It's actually kind of a big spoiler, possibly, because we know Optimus Prime's going to come back, but it looks like he comes back bad because he's about to stab Bumblebee and Mark Wahlberg and stab something, whether it's Bumblebee's head or the cement. We really can't tell before it cuts to a very long introduction of the title screen, Transformers: The Last Knight. So yeah, I guess I really didn't leave the snark behind in this review. I'm sorry. I've been fooled 4 times. Well, 3.5. Again, the first movie really wasn't that terrible. It wasn't great, but I got enjoyment out of it. The next 3, so I just can't get the hope up anymore. And as I said, even the trailer itself just didn't seem to have that same zing. Maybe it was just missing the Linkin Park music. So what did you think of this trailer? Let me know in the comments below, please. I love comments. I will respond. As always, you can subscribe to my channel. Check out some other reviews. And until next time, I'll see you at the movies.